Welcome to the Corona Cero post show here at the Surf City El Salvador Pro, presented by Corona, where we wrap up all of day one's happening. Thank you for joining us right here in the studio at Punta Roca. Remember, Corona Cero, all natural ingredients, 0% ABV, and I like it paired with a lime. Thank you for joining us here. I'm Kai Pagura, along with Felicity Flick Palmentier and Mitchell Salazar. I'm going to start with you, Flick. We got a lot of work done today. We saw a lot of drama on the rocks and the cobblestones here at Punta Roca. Some highlights for you.
I think the highlights for me have to be the surf. I mean, obviously the surf has surfed great, but we saw the tail end of that swell, you know, that hit Tahiti. It's ended up here in El Salvador, and it pumped all day. I mean, we've surfed through 16 heats. It was a massive day. But yeah, Punta Roca just provided throughout the whole day. Consistency was there, wave size was there, and a lot to break down. Your
takeaway, Mitch?
The swell. I mean, the waves, dude. This is really what we were supposed to see from Punta Roca the last 2 years, and we finally got a swell where not only were the surfers able to capitalize, Kaipo, most importantly, we showcased what this place is about. Why Surf City is one of the newer destinations we see worldwide, becoming the center of attention, especially here in Central America, Kaipo.
Yeah, you're right. Well, there was drama today, and we're going to start with some of that drama. The drama in that our defending champ and current world champ found herself in the elimination round. I'm talking about Caroline Marks coming up against Leilani McGonigal in the elimination round. But you know what, Flick? Caroline Marks was not going to be eliminated with this kind of surfing.
Oh, definitely not. For me, it was just, you know, shades of what we saw, you know, Final Fives last year when she ended up getting the win, getting the world title. I mean, this form right here is reminiscent of that. It's very similar, right hand, you know, rock bottom. And yeah, I just feel like, yeah, her surfing was on point. She surfed really well. Her pace with this wave is also on point as well. And I feel like, she kind of got the job done pretty easily.
Sure did. She's looking like one to be reckoned with. She's still in form, Mitch.
Yeah, and as Flick mentioned, the tempo to me, the pace that we saw right there, especially coming from behind the section most of the times, had a couple of great scores, Kaipo, and more than 14 points in terms of the heat total right there.
14.5 to be exact for the heat total for Caroline Marks to move on into the quarterfinals. A great showing by Leilani McGonigal, who has a bright future representing Costa Rica, but it's Caroline Marks into the quarterfinal. Let's take a look at our quarterfinal bracket here. And we got some interesting matchups, but I really want to highlight quarterfinal number 4, because when we look at the rankings, this is number 4, Johanne Defay, going up against number 5, Caroline Marks, Flick. And when you're racing for the final 5, a loss in the quarterfinals will not help your cause.
Yeah, I completely agree. Number 4 for me is definitely a standout. I feel like Joanne's going to be hungry to get, you know, a win here. You know, she's kind of been trending downwards since the start of the year. But Caroline, on the other hand, as we know, is probably the most consistent surfer out here. She's also the defending champion. So I feel like, you know, and we just looked at her elimination round highlights and just how well she surfs out here, how well her backhand fits into the pocket, and it's so critical. So that's going to be a cracker of a heat.
Yeah. You have any favorites so far from what you've seen with the women's for a champ?
I thought Brisa Hennessy competed very well. Comeback right there at the end too, Kaipo. I will say, though, Caitlin Simmers, you know, that one turn on the end section surprised me, and I feel like due for a good result right here, especially after losing early on last year.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Well, we'll pivot now to the men's, and in the opening round, heat number 5 for the men's was stacked. We had 4 world titles in the water. I'm talking about Gabe Medina. I'm talking about Leo Fioravanti, and I'm talking about Italo Ferreira in this opening round. But Medina was way too strong on his backhand, Mitchell. I mean, he's a machine.
Yeah, especially those floaters right there, Kaipo. A lot of risk, and you know, I thought not only did the waves turn on right here, the surfing did too. They understood the assignment, and what we've seen so far from Gabe the last few events, he has looked unstoppable when he's catching his right waves, Kaipo.
Italo Ferreira looked sharp as well. He just couldn't match Gabe's number, a 7, a 6.93 for Ferreira in this heat, but that wasn't enough.
Yeah, for me, it all came down to wave selection. Gabe just was on the money. He was finding waves that were allowing him to get tighter and more critical in the pocket. I mean, that was a perfect example. Whereas Italo's waves, he had moments, but they were a bit more tapered. And, I mean, this heat definitely lived up to the hype, too. We also have Leo in this heat, too, where he also posted a 7-point ride and kept it pace with, you know, Medina and Fierro. So I feel like this, yeah, for me, this heat was an absolute standout. It was always a standout on paper, but whether or not it lives up to the hype is another story. And this one definitely did.
Yeah, it was entertaining. Gabe Medina, happy and super talented, because we can look at the numbers to back that up. A 7.9, a 7.5, nearly an excellent heat for Gabe Medina. He skips the elimination round, moves on to the round of 16. We'll see Italo Ferreira and Leo Fioravanti in that elimination round. Well, we went through the elimination round for the women. We're setting up the elimination round for the men, Mitchell. But what's on store? What do we have in the future? For that, we always call up Surfline to look at our Surfline Forecast to see what's on the charts. Let's see what Surfline tells us about tomorrow and ahead.
Yeah, so that incoming swell that we saw over there in Tahiti has been hitting so far this week here at Punta Roca. Onshore winds this afternoon, relatively light, to be honest. It was quite glassy for the majority of the afternoon, but it should be pretty strong tomorrow, Kaipo. But as we look at the rest of the window, the next 4 days, Saturday, Sunday, to me, look like very good days, especially when you consider the offshore conditions we're going to see in the morning.
Ooh, look at that purple right there on the color chart
Me gusta.
for Surfline. That means it's going to be good, Flick.
Yeah, it does. I think we already said it this morning, but there's so much opportunity. There's so much swell. It's literally just going to be picking the eyes out of it as to when we're going to have lightest winds and pulling the trigger then, because there's just so much opportunity.
Yeah, so much opportunity, so much swell. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate today's top 5 moments, and let's get into it with our top 5 of day number 1 here at Surf City El Salvador Pro, presented by Corona. Number 5, magnificent Molly Flick.
I mean, she just, oh wow. So every time I watch that, I just am reminded of how much she's willing to put it on the line. I mean, that was right in front of that big rock, Mama Roca. It's super consequential. But you know what? I said it when we were watching this heat. I just feel like she had a lot to prove after Tahiti, because I feel like, that was something that she wanted to be a part of. I know that she loves pushing women's performance, and the fact that she kind of wasn't one of those names, I just know that she would have just been so hungry to get a good result, and she did.
Number 4, Jack Robinson. He takes flight. Watch this. Big air for Robinson. Front side rotator. Bango, Mitch.
8.33 right there, Kaipa, one of the highest single wave scores of the day so far. Contender to take out another W here. Would be his 3rd one if he's able to do it at Punta Roca.
Yeah, Jack Robinson. You got to be one of your picks with that kind of surfing. Looking energized, looking focused, and knows how to finish a wave. Number 3, Tatiana Weston-Webb. Flick. She triumphs in the elimination round. She manufactured an excellent ride right here.
Yeah, this heat right here. I mean, let's just talk about this wave for starters. I mean, she surfed this incredibly well, and it was one of the best waves that came through this whole heat. This last turn, the way she accelerated out of that, she came out with more speed than what she went into it. It was really impressive. But that heat was wave starved. It was really slow, so she did such a good job to pull out an 8-point ride.
Number 2, John John Florence. We know he goes excellent. He went excellent again, Mitchell. Check this out from above.
With the skate-inspired move too, Kaipo. Not only was he competing well, he surfed the waves that he selected just as good, and if not even better. Truly feeling like he's going to get his 3rd World Championship at the end of this year. Great start right there with the 7.83. Really close opening exchange between him and Liam O'Brien. Love this air attempt here right though, Kaipo.
Straight front side air, gaining a lot of ground down the line, and he continued to assault this wave all the way to the end, Mitch.
An 8.5 on this one. Not only that, solidified himself as the leader in the rankings too.
Number 1, Yago Dora put on a show, Flick.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, he was actually probably one of my picks going into this event. You're kind of thinking, what surfers are going to do well here? And I feel like this whole year kind of hasn't really had a moment. Tahiti, he had moments of brilliance, but this heat, it all came together. I mean, highest heat total of the day, 16.64. 2 excellent scores. I mean, it wasn't an easy job out there today. The waves were pumping, and then threw in this variety. I mean, you don't see those kind of maneuvers every day, do you? I mean, it's rare, and I just love that he brought that creativity to this heat and kept us guessing. So, yeah, really job well done by Yago, and I mean, he just does it with such ease to it. It's kind of just like a video game. Like you're just playing it, and all of a sudden, I want to do an air. Here we go, let's go. It's just like seems too easy for him.
First day of the window, you guys. Epic day behind us. Let's cheers. Cheers to an epic day, and thank you for watching the Cero post show. Enjoy the end of day highlights. Check worldsurfleague.com for all of the updates here from El Salvador.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.